First of all, I'm just going to let you know I don't have any PowerPoint, so give me some love on that. Give me some love. No PowerPoint. We've had a lot today. We might turn it down just even a little more. It sounds a little echoey. Oh. How about this? Is that better? Does that sound better? Okay, cool. Just want to say, for the next 3 hours we got together, it's going to be fun. 4:30 on an Saturday afternoon following that. Holy cow, that's all I can say. But I want to say one thing. I totally admire and appreciate everyone in this room's dedication. I live close to Susan and Thaddeus, and Doug used to live there, and Doug would fly to DC, and Lori's somewhere in the room here. But the dedication and what you're doing in spite of all that, because I've asked Doug, I don't know how many times, how do you feel? It seems to me sometimes that this Titanic is going down and we're just rearranging the chairs on the Titanic. Are you with me, yes or no? You know what I'm saying? But everyone in this room, I've asked a lot of you, how do you find hope? How do you keep going? What stimulates you? I mean, there's a lot of bad news out there, am I right? Yes or no? Can we put and there's some good news too, right? So we're going to start this afternoon just with a little activity. I know you've been sitting all day. Everyone, please make the OK sign with your right hand. Very simple activity. Make the OK sign with your right hand and simply place it on your chin. Go ahead. Put it on your chin. Yeah, on your chin. Chin, chin, chin. Sir, on your chin. Yeah, okay, good. Gotcha. Okay, good. I had a guy the other day, he was all pissed off. He's like, it's on my chin. Arr. All right, another one. Just see how awake we are. It's a wake-up call. Here we go. Ready? Hands out like this. Ready, ma'am? You ready? Okay. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, clap. When I say clap, you might want to turn your chair around because we got 3 hours for sure. Just get comfortable. All right? So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, clap. When I say clap, boom, you're going to go like that. Okay? Only when I say clap. You ready, David? Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, clap. Okay, good. 3 of us got it right, all right? Last time, only when I say clap. Takes focus. Here we go. Only when I say clap. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Clap. Okay, some of you are staying after class. So I used to be a high school teacher. Any high school teachers in the room by chance? I used to teach high school, and I like to ask people to guess what I taught in high school. No one's ever got this on the first guess. Take a stab. I'm sorry?
Clapping.
Yeah, good one. Yeah, welcome to clap class. Yeah, that would get old in a hurry, but guess again. What's that? Listening. Shop? No, never gets this. Ladies and gentlemen, honest to God, I was in Commerce City. I was the high school typing teacher. Come on, give it up. Come on, give me some love. Oh yeah. How many of you remember your high school typing teacher? You remember that? J-A-K space home row. So I had 5 ninth grade typing classes. How many of you have high school age kids at home? Raise your hand. Who's got a boy? Who's got a high school age boy? Anybody in the room? Nobody? You just got out of high school, didn't you? Not too long ago? What's your name?
You.
Yoop?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, Yoop, yeah. So my son Charles is 22 and he's up at CSU, okay? And I've been a single dad since he was 1 year old. So he would call me daddy for years, okay? Jeffrey, how old are you?
32.
32? Wow, you don't look a day over 12. You still get carded all the time, don't you? All the time. Okay, cool. So, but he would call me daddy for years. How many parents do we have in the room? Raise your hand if you're a parent or grandparent. He called me daddy for years until it was like 6th or 7th grade. I drop him off at school, and that afternoon he made a concerted effort to say dad. And that's when things started to change. He started getting really, really serious. You with me here? And what's your name, sir?
Bryce.
I'm sorry?
Bryce.
Bryce, he started getting that high school boy walk. Can you stand up and model that for us? Just kind of go ahead, Bryce, and just kind of demonstrate.
High school boy walk.
Yeah, go ahead. Bryce, don't be too cool for the too cool walk, if you know what I'm talking about. You go for it. Yeah, go for it. You got it.
I don't.
Good enough for me. That works fine. That's great. But my whole job these days, I used to be a teacher, but now I speak to educators and students and other folks, and I'll be walking through a high school. I don't care where I'm across the country. And my whole message to high school kids, don't take yourself seriously. You know what I mean? And I think one of the things that you all do, you take this climate change obviously very seriously, but the trick is sometimes I think we take ourselves too seriously. Are you with me here? And I think we can be more effective if we don't take ourselves so seriously. So I'm walking through a high school. I don't care where I'm across the country, and we're getting a back view here. Or should I talk to you now, or?
Go aside and then you move.
Okay, yeah, I'm moving. Okay. You want me to be right here? Is that cool? That's all right. Okay, cool. So I'll be walking through high school, and I don't care where I'm across the country, Scott, everywhere I go, it's just the dudes. I'm walking through high school, I'm like, hey, to a bunch of guys, I'm like, hey, how are you? Dudes are all like, you know, where they checking to see if light bulbs are on, right? You still do that, don't you, Jeff? Yeah, you bet. What's up? Like, imagine a conversation, son, how was school? He's all like, pfft. All right, there's my son, the Pez dispenser, all day like that, right? And they used to say, what's up? And now it's just one word sentence, it's sup, you know, what's up? Yeah, like that, right? And my son's still like that, one word sentences. Who has high school age or college students? Raise your hand. The dudes, they talk in one word sentences, am I right? Now I found where it's the gals, how many of you high school age girls at home? They love to talk, right? Not just with their mouth, their whole body. It's more animated, okay, can we say? It's more like, hi, like, oh my God, you know, whatever, you know, much more animated. And you ladies are still like that, am I right? Am I right? And what's your name?
Nina.
Nina?
Yes.
And yours?
Macy.
Macy, let's say the two of you work together. Are you still in college or you work? College. You haven't seen each other in a couple weeks. You have no qualms about embracing a big hug, right? Much more affectionate than us guys. And what's your name?
Nick,
Nick, let's say you knew we worked together.
I would totally hug you.
You would, you? Bring it up, Nick. Bring it up, Nick. Oh, man. Just for a couple seconds, and then, yeah, that's all. Yeah.
I don't know yet.
Okay, yeah, we don't know each other that well. That's great. And ladies, this is universal. Where do you go to catch up? This is universal. Where do you go to catch up? The bathroom, right? 2 of you, 4 of you, 8 of you head to the restroom. You talk out of the stalls, in the stalls, underneath those stalls. Am I right? Like, where'd you get those pumps? Oh my God. Now that's a female thing. What's this guy's name? What's your name? Jim. If you have, I guarantee if Jim in the next 45 minutes has the urge to use the facility, which you might, right, Jim? To use the facility? Okay. I guarantee he will not stand up, head to the exit sign. This guy's just having a hard time, aren't you? I'm not going to. Jim's not going to stand up, head to the exit sign, hesitate, turn around and say, excuse me, gentlemen, I'm heading to the restroom. Anyone else care to join me? Ain't gonna happen, is it, Jim? And ladies, we don't do a lot of conversing in the restroom. We can be, you know, Jim and I can be having a conversation. We hit those doors, boom, we cease talking, okay? I stand here, Jim finds the farthest one. He stands over here, right? You with me, Jeff? And Jeff comes in, he's doing a little math in his head. There's no talking going on. He's just kind of looking, doing a little math. Oh, there's the middle right there. And we're all just kind of staring at the wall, checking out the grout. Boy, good grout work there, right? And God forbid another dude stands next to us. If we do make eye contact, what's up? And then we're out of there, right? So who in this room who's got a 4 or 5-year-old kid at home? Anyone have a 4 or 5-year-old child or grandchild? Does anyone have a 45-year-old kid at home? That's a better question. Son, time to get a job. Well, check this out. Who's got a 4, 5, 6-year-old grandson or granddaughter? Raise your hand. How many times a day would you guess that your granddaughter or grandson laughs in one day?
30 times a day.
30 times a day. Okay, who else has a kid that age? Raise your hand. Anybody? I'm sorry? Anybody? Well, they did a study, University of California, Berkeley. You know, we saw a lot of stats there, but I'm going to throw you some stats from a social, psychological level. The average 4-year-old, whether you're Republican or Democrat, laughs 250 times a day. Yeah, come on, let's give it up for them. Yeah. They're not labeled yet, if you know what I'm talking about, right? Now, guess how many times we, Jeffrey, on average laugh? The average adult in America, guess how many times we laugh?
4.
Jeffrey's like, 4, and I haven't laughed once yet this afternoon. His bathroom humor stuff. Yeah. 7 times a day. We laugh 7 times. Is it getting annoying for you, yes or no? A little bit? Are they're seeing if they can figure it out. Maybe, I wonder if I could do without it. Do you think I could do that? Yeah. How's that? Can you hear me now? Yeah. Is that cool or no? No, okay. Oh, the hand wheel mark. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do that. Why not? Okay, check 1, 2. How's that? In the back. Okay, time? Okay. Thank you. One person got it. Thank you very much. All right. So what were we talking about? What was I just talking about? Help me out. Oh, yeah. We laugh 7 times a day. So we laugh 7 times a day. Kids laugh 250 times a day. How many of you put this on your cheek initially? Raise your hand if you put this on your cheek. And why did you put it on your cheek, Scott? Why?
Because you did.
Because I did. I was saying chin, but I was doing cheek. Most of you did what I did, not what I said. So how do children learn from us? By what we say or by what we do? By what we do. Someone once said, Scott, your actions speak so loudly I can't even hear what you're saying. So what are we modeling for children right off the bat? We're laughing 7. By the way, how many of those 4 or 5-year-olds are drinking a 6-pack to have that kind of fun? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Right? And what do we model to them, right? We're serious Sams during the week, and then we have a few cocktails, and then we get serious. So we're modeling, grow up, act your age, wipe that smile off your face, and get serious, right? It's crazy to me. Now watch this one. How many of you in this room can paint a picture? Raise your hand if you can paint a picture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, good, about 15 of us, excellent. 15 out of about 190. So you can't paint a picture, is that right?
Yeah.
You can? You can or not? You can? I'm confused.
I can, it won't be good.
I can, it won't be good. Okay. How about you? Can you paint a picture?
Absolutely.
Okay, you had your hand up. How about you, sir?
It wouldn't be up to my own standards.
Okay. Okay, great. How about you?
Same as hard.
Okay. So is anyone around a first grader or kindergarten? If I walk into a kindergarten classroom and I ask this very same question, how many hands do I have up? Oh. So what's up with that? Here we are, the adults, modeling behavior. They look up to us, don't they? So based on this informal study, let's first find out if that's true. So you said, if I had, let's say, you see that sheet of paper up there? And let's say I had some paints and a paintbrush, and I said, Robert, I will give you $10,000 if you paint me a picture. Could you do it, yes or no?
Yeah, I can.
So Robert, you were lying a minute ago, weren't you? That whole thing about, right? So based on this informal study, you tell me, I'm just curious, who has more self-esteem and self-confidence, a group of children or us here in the room this afternoon? Who says children? Raise your hand. Well, keep your hands up and look around the room. I mean, here we are, the adults. It's funny, isn't it? Is it crazy? It cracks me up every time. Thanks, hands down. Not a lot of self-help books, Sarah, right, for 4-year-olds. Yeah, How to Become a Better 5-year-old. Read that one. You know, the 7 Healthy Habits of a 6.5-year. You know what I mean? And we have oodles of these self-esteem books. So if what we're saying is true, I believe there's not only a lot to do for the kids in terms of climate change, and like Greta, bless her heart, you know what I'm saying? But also look at the qualities that we had as children that we've lost because we get all serious, right? And again, let's distinguish between taking ourselves seriously versus taking climate change or anything else seriously. I see so many people, you turn on the TV, and I think there's so much people, I'm not even making sense here, so many people taking themselves very seriously. Are you with me, yes or no? Yeah. Okay, so we already established kids laugh more than us without doing meth and drinking alcohol, that we model behavior, they have more self-esteem and self-confidence, okay? What else do you see in children that we've kind of lost as adults? What else do you see in those little whippersnappers? Curiosity. The number one word they say is what? Yeah, she got it right. Let's give her a big hand. Give her a big hand, she got it right. Yeah. Yay. Right, because another adult thing is we want to get things right. You know what I'm saying? It's good, it feels good to be right. Okay, so yeah, curiosity, the number one word they say is what? Is why. Why this, why that? And obviously everything we've seen today and tomorrow and all the work we do, it's like, wow, how do we stay curious about how we solve this problem? You know, well, it's always been this way. You know, this party's like this and this party's like that. Hey, why don't we just get curious about everything and ask those questions? Why are we afraid to ask questions? You know what I'm saying? I was with the group, it was the Colorado Farm Bureau, and I asked the question, how many of you can paint a picture? Out of 700 hands, there was 12 hands up, including a 6-year-old that happened to be there with his grandpa. And so I had the mic, so I went over to him. We were at the Hyatt down in the tech center. So I went over to this little kid. I said, hey, what's your name? He's like, William. I said, William, how old are you? And he's like, 6. I said, can you paint a picture? And listen to what he said. He went, yeah. It wasn't, well, Craig, let me tell you, it wouldn't be the best ever. Comparing to other people's pictures, probably not so good, or no, I can't. It was simply, yeah. And then I asked him a stupid question. I said, how about all your friends at school? Can they paint a picture? And he's looking at me like duh, like, yeah. I said, okay. He was an outgoing kid. I said, you mind jumping up on the chair? So he jumped up on the chair. And I said, hey, look at all those adults out there. You know, most of them said they couldn't paint a picture. Why do you think that is? And I give the kid the microphone, and here's this little kid, bless his heart. He's like, he's looking around, he's like, oh, they just don't have their paint supplies. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? That is awesome, right? They don't have all these no, I'm not good, et cetera, right? So again, what else about kids? Real quick, because I don't have the 3 hours. I only have about a half hour. What else about kids? What else? What's that? Honesty. Who's more honest, kids or us? Kids, right? If I was talking right now and I had a dangler, okay, a floating dangler, out of my nostril, just kind of in and out with every breath. You know what I'm saying? I just got 3 of you to check your nose. That guy just checked his nose back there. But as adults, you'd be thinking, that guy's a loser, You wouldn't tell me. What if a 4-year-old was sitting right here? What would they do? Hey, you got a goober on your nose. So much more honest, yeah, Phil, the little kids? And how honest are we? Hey, Bob, is everything okay? Yeah, everything's just fine. All this passive-aggressive stuff, and, we're learning how to talk to people in certain ways. Got to walk on eggshells. They're direct. Don't you love them? I love them because they're direct. And who's more emotionally honest, kids or us? Kids, they laugh when they're happy, and they what? They cry when they're sad. And what do we do with our emotions as adults? Yeah, and how about us men? What's your name?
Michael.
Michael, what do we do as a man with our emotions?
Exercise, do work.
Do work, yeah. And just get really pissed off and drink a lot of alcohol. Okay, good. Yeah. Well, ladies, what's the only emotion for men in America? What is it? Anger. And we turn on the TV and that's all we see, right? And here's one thing I've been asking Doug and other friends that you do the great work you do, is how many of you get pissed off at pissed off people? I know I do, right? How many of you get really irritated people? Or, and then we become them, right? It's a tough one. It's a challenge, right? So the only emotion for men in America is anger, but psychologist Daniel will say below anger usually is sadness or fear. But it's not cool to say I'm afraid or I'm sad. So what do? We get all pissed off and we get angry. Here's a statistic for you. Of all the mass shootings since Columbine High School, how many of them have been initiated by women? There's been one. So it's a dude issue. It's a total dude issue. And I saw it happen when my son was in 2nd grade. He came home, he said, "Daddy, they made fun of me for crying." And I said, "It's okay to cry, Charles. It's totally okay to cry." And bless his heart, he still cries. He's 22, he plays rugby up at CSU, but he still can cry. And men, if we could cry more, there'd be less violence in the world, for sure, for sure. So I look at those kids. I don't look at any PhD program. I look at children, because what I'm pointing to are innate qualities, We don't teach our kids to laugh, they just do. They're just honest, they're curious. Who's more creative, children or us? Children. There's a great TED Talk by Ken Robinson, 20-minute talk, look it up. He states a study in London that 93% of 5-year-olds test out as creative geniuses. By the time they're 10, it goes down to 32%. By the time they're 15, it goes down to 12%. By the time they're 20, only 2% test out as creative geniuses. So again, we had it and then we kind of lost it. Are you with me here? So those children, bless their hearts, they just have all this joy, all this love. They're open like this. Are you with me here? They don't even see, there was a 2nd grade classroom, a film strip on multicultural film strip. Here is a Latino family. Here's an African American family. Just then, this little 2nd grader raises a hand and says, Miss Johnson, Henry's African American. He's African American. Yeah, it's a little white boy and black boy had been buddies for 5 years. Come on, we can learn from these kids, yes or no? Unbelievable. They have so much to teach us. They're so loving, they're creative, and we need creativity to solve these problems. I mean, like, goodness gracious, look at what we've been looking at all day. We need to, what did Einstein say? Imagination is more important than knowledge. So facts are good. We got the knowledge. We got our facts. But to solve these world problems that we just heard, man, we need total creativity. Einstein also said we need to solve the problems that we created with a different part of our brain. Are you with me here? So we need creative solutions. How do we tap into that? We got to tap into our creativity. And we're going to talk about how to get back to these qualities, but let's just get a couple more out. What else about kiddos? What else do you see in them that we've kind of lost? What's that? Spontaneous. How many of you have seen 4-year-olds playing soccer? Okay, it doesn't matter who's on offense or defense, does it? It's like swarm ball. They go this way, they go that way, right? So I'm watching these kiddos in Denver a few years back, and Michael stops in the middle of the field, right? And I'm standing next to his dad. His dad's concerned. Is he physically hurt? Is he emotionally traumatized? What's up with this kid? And all of a sudden, the rest of the storm continues. Mike's in the middle of the field. He gets this big smile on his face. He's like, man, I love this game. And then he catches up with the kids again. Now, how many of you walk into your offices on a Monday morning, big old smile on your face, arms up, man, I love this job. Raise your hands, please. Okay, a couple of you, and they're retired, whatever, okay. But Jeff, let's analyze this, okay? So since we're an analytical group, what allowed this child to express himself like that? Because obviously high school kids don't do that, right? Because all the energy goes where? To being cool. You know what I'm saying? What's up? You know, it takes a lot of energy to be cool. It takes a lot of energy to be right. It takes a lot of energy to hold up our ego. Are you with me here? And kids, their energy doesn't go there, right? So what allowed this kid to express himself like that?
Shamelessness.
Shamelessness. Because you or I would be shameful if we did that, of course. But we can go get hammered tonight and do really shameful things, but that's more, you know, it's condoned in our society, you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah, I think, yeah, because you're not going to go shopping. Let's say, Jeffrey, you're going to go shopping, and let's say you're at the King Soopers, okay, or the Safeway over here, and let's say that you love peaches, and they're on sale for like 20 cents a pound or something like this. Are you going to do, Jeffrey, you're going to do, oh, I found my peaches. You know, you're going to do something like that?
No, I don't think so.
No, why not?
Shame.
Okay, shame, yeah. Okay, so I think shame, watch this one, check this one out, okay? You guys are all volunteers, awesome, you're doing a great job at watch this. You're gonna be amazed at this. I need a volunteer right now to come up here. It's gonna be fun, you're gonna learn something new, and you're gonna be supported. Who are all the people willing to come up? 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 5, 6, okay, cool. Thank you. Now you guys can sit down. It was just an experiment. Okay, let's give him a hand. Let's give him a hand though. Because, nice job, I love that you jumped up, Scott. But if I ask that same question to a group of children, kindergartners, how many hands do I have up? Every single hand. That's been my experience. I'll go into a first grade classroom. I'm introduced by a teacher. Hey, I need a volunteer. Oh, me. Every single hand's up. So when we talk about engagement or engaging, you know, how do we engage more volunteers and more people? It's like we want to participate. You know, I never once, when my son was at the age to go to the playground and I was sitting on the bench, you know, supervising the children at the playground, I never once had my kid come up, sit down next to me and go, gee, Dad, this looks like a blast. Does it ever happen, yes or no? No. So what are we afraid of right now? Because I only had, you know, 10 hands up out of 160 or 70 or 90, whatever. Who did not have your hand up? Let's just see what it, yeah, and why not?
I mean, there's the length of the commitment, right? It's like, is it going to be 15 minutes?
Okay. Yeah, right. Man, how long do I have to be a member of the CCL? Do I have to, you know, well, it's been 12 years already. What the hell are we going to do for the next, yeah. Right, there's a time frame, got it. Who else, yeah, you didn't have your hand up, how come?
I was afraid you'd embarrass me.
Excellent, excellent. And what's your name?
Alvin.
Alvin, let me ask you this. As adults, Alvin, how much energy do we put into trying not to be embarrassed? Yeah. And is that helping climate change at all, yes or no? No, not at all. I was up in Wyoming. Any people from Wyoming here? This is great. You're going to love this. I was up there at a meth conference, okay? Up in Casper, Wyoming, a few years back was a meth conference, okay? Yeah, not math, but meth. And it was a conference like this. We brought all the people, let's see, there was legislators, there was cops, teachers, educators, drug and alcohol people, right? Convening for a 3-day conference. Terrible drug, right? Terrible situation. So the first morning I was there, and here's what happened. We were watching PowerPoints on methamphetamine. Here's the meth lab. Here's another meth lab. Okay, here's the statistics on meth. Here a meth, there a meth, everywhere a meth. So by lunch, everyone's like this. So instead of a creative, nice conversation on like, hey, what can we do to help this meth problem in Wyoming? This was literally the conversation. Could you pass the salt, please? Thank you. That was about it, right? So I'm on after lunch. I had all afternoon. I was on after lunch. So I stepped forward. I'm like, hey, everybody, you know, waka waka. You know. I got nothing. There was no laughs. Everyone was like this. After 2 minutes, I stopped. I had to. I said, sir, did you understand this whole thing? Well, I think so. So what was the point of that? Well, most of us did what you did, not what you said. And therefore, well, we model behavior. Can we get on with the agenda here? So I said, let me get this straight. We're off of meth, is that right? We're all off of meth here? And he still didn't get it. He's like, yeah. And he's getting a little pissed off. Yeah, we're off of meth. And I said, and we're trying to prevent meth use. Is that correct? Yeah. Look at, the program says so, whatever, I said, I couldn't help myself. I said, I just want you to, from my vantage point, this is what I see. Hey, stay off of drugs. Have fun like me. And I couldn't help myself. I said, I think that's why they're using meth, folks. I think that's why they're using meth. I said, of all the people that should be living a joyful, passionate life as an example of what it's like to live without meth, it's you all. But I said, if this is what it's like, I said, give me the meth, for God's sakes. The irony was absolutely profound. Are you with me, yes or no? So later on that conference, I said, and I had more time, I said, ma'am, would you come up and help me? And she said, I will not be embarrassed. I said, okay, cool, I'm not going to make you do anything. But I asked her a few questions, and she was able to tell me that her need to not be embarrassed was this much, okay? Going back to the whole I don't want to be embarrassed. Her need to not be embarrassed was this much. Her need to help with this terrible drug was this much. You know what I'm saying here? My job is to reverse that. If we don't take ourselves so seriously and we can risk embarrassment, perhaps we can dedicate more energy, creativity, focus, connection, all these wonderful qualities that children have to the job at hand. Are you with me here? I was back east, another big group, it was a big group of serious people, ties on, the whole bit. I'm introduced after lunch, I step forward, and I don't know if this happened to you before, but I stepped forward, I'm still kind of finishing my meal, and I said, good afternoon. And I could see something in my peripheral vision fly like this, okay? And sitting right here, sir, was this woman, I am not making this up, this woman, she had big poofy hair, and I glanced down, and I thought, did that? No, it didn't, really? And it landed on her head, okay? About a quarter-inch piece of cracker was sitting on her head. Half the audience is going, oh my God, what the hell? Like that. So I figured I had a couple options. A, I could ignore it, right? But everyone would be watching her head the whole speech. B, I could nonchalantly kind of swat it off her head. Or C, I could ask for it back, okay? So I have leeway in my job. I said, ma'am, you have something in mind. She's like, what are you talking about? And she's moving her head. I grab it. I said, thank you very much. Put it in my mouth. Continue my speech. Thank you very much. See, I can get away with that kind of stuff, right? So kids, they don't have a lot of fear, and I think it's the fear of embarrassment is huge. It's huge in our society. Facebook, we present the best selves. We're all about how we look. The woman at the meth conference, it was more about, hi, I'm concerned about this terror. That's me, yeah, me, I'm concerned. Baloney, her image was more important than helping the meth problem. Are you with me, yes or no? Yeah. And so kids, Michael playing soccer, he's all into playing soccer. He's a verb, not a noun. He's playing soccer. He's not worried about his image and how he fits in society, etc. He's just a verb. And I think part of the effort that we all have is to be more verbs than nouns, right? And that helps me when I get down, when I get depressed, when the mantra for me is me, I always get more depressed. Are you with me here? And when I'm doing service, when I'm helping someone else, making someone laugh, whatever, it's a better thing. Speaking of making people laugh, I was at DIA Airport. This is another fun side thing. Concourse B, it was earlier last summer. Charles and I were heading to Minnesota, and the escalator was broken way out on Concourse B. It was broken. All right, so it's funny what you can get people to do. It's great. So we walk halfway down and say, hey, Charles, let's just keep a straight face. And he's kind of used to this stuff. So we're standing there with our bags halfway down, and the other escalator is working, right? The other one going up. And we're sitting there kind of really concerned looking, and as people are going up, we're like, excuse me, ma'am, could you let someone know this got stuck? I swear to God, people are like, well, who do we talk to? Someone with a DIA t-shirt or something, but we have a plane to catch. We're kind of in a hurry, you know what I'm saying? And we did that for 5 minutes. Good fun, a lot of fun. But here's another thing. How many have been out to Las Vegas? This is another funny one. How many have been out to Vegas? So You could do a whole sociological study of people in Las Vegas. Crazy, right? So I was working with a hospital, and later on we went to Caesar's Palace. And there's these statues that come to life at Caesar's Palace every hour or so. 200 people gather around, and at the conclusion of the statues, they take pictures and walk away. Well, at the conclusion, I'm like, you know, because I taught clapping in high school, I knew how to do that. And so people felt this obligation. And you know how people, you know, at some point, people are going to catch on to this climate change in a huge way. There's going to be a moment where, boom, the tipping point's going to happen. I know it's going to happen, right? Not there yet, but it's going to happen. So, and it's always the second person. You saw that video about the guy dancing. So the second, so people are, all of a sudden, we had all 200 people applauding these inanimate objects. And it was great because we kept it going and people are leaving, but you know, if you keep a straight face, there's an obligation of people to surround us. So I started chanting, Caesar, Caesar. And there's all these tourists going, Caesar, Caesar. And so finally, this guy's all bent out of shape. He's like, I don't think they're coming back for an encore. I'm like, okay, well, all right. So another quality about kids, that where do they live? Where do kids live? Where do they live? In the present. And we spend a lot of time where? In the future or past, right? I mean, you're physically here, right? You're physically here. But you could be, yeah, okay. But you could be totally spaced out, right? You could be spaced out. Man, that, you know, whole thing, da-da-da. My whole life would have been different had I only married Barbara. You think about that?
Exactly.
Yeah, boom, hit that one, okay. But we're spaced out most of the time. Kids live in the moment. That's a great thing. And when you meet people, when you go out to Eastern Colorado, whatever you all do, when we're connected, when we're right there, then we can be present to them. Again, kids are present. They're present. And we're going to talk about worry in a second because kids don't worry, and worry and preparation are two different things. We'll just touch on that real quickly. However, I'm out in Las Vegas, same afternoon, and there's this guy, you know, in a hurry to get to a show. I mean, a crowd of people's walking. There's this dude like this walking with his arm behind him, okay? Now, trailing him about 5 feet was this woman, and her arm is out like this. I happen to be at the right place at the right time, okay? So instinctively, I reach out for this total stranger's hand, okay? He squeezes my hand and continues walking through the casino. So his wife starts cracking up. I grab her hand. Here we go, you know? You know, only in Vegas, right? So after about like a minute and a half, I think he's realizing my hand is larger than his wife's. So he stops and he slowly turns around. And he's like, "Wah!" Oh, I forgot to tell you, him and his wife were visiting America. They were tourists and they were from Japan. So the look on his face, we're both giggling. He's like, "Jit, jit, jit. Ah, you funny American. Okay, all right." Taking pictures the whole bit, right? Couple morals to that story. How many times in life does opportunity walk by, right? There's always opportunities. And if we let the fear of embarrassment, I had some intuition, right? The guy wasn't packing a newsie. We got to trust our intuition. But that he had a sense of humor. And I think that the most effective people I have found in any type of, you know, nonprofit work or this stuff are people that have a sense of humor, that can laugh at themselves. Like that woman, for example, again, going back to the woman up at, in Wyoming. I'm not inferring you. You were the woman that I used as an example because you're doing a great job. Catherine, let's give her a big hand. She's doing awesome. She needs some love. Come on, you need to support each other, don't you? I mean, geez, tough work, tough work. It's so, man, overwhelming sometimes. But if we can focus on, we have more fun if we're like Michael on the soccer field or focused on what you're doing to help climate change and not make it about ourselves. That's the only thing I can say. And I learned that from kids, from little kids. Because what would it take to have every hand up in this room when I asked for a volunteer? What would it take in reality? What's that? Food. How many of you would come up for a burger and fries? Okay, so a lot of you are still holding out. Okay. What else would it take? What else would it take? Money. Money. Okay. That's why you're all members of this group. Okay. For the big bucks. Do I have to bribe those kindergartners with cash, yes or no? No. So these are adult things that they're not, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like we invent all these conditionings that we've grown into. Because kids don't even have fear, right? They're pretty fearless, those little ones. There's only 2 fears that we're born with. You know what those 2 fears are that we're born with?
Death?
Death? No, you don't, you know, we're not even aware of death at that moment. What's that? Falling is one, very good. Falling is one, or heights. The other one is landing. is landing. Heights, you know, falling and landing. Okay, someone tell him that was a joke. Okay, not a good one, obviously. So, nonetheless, it was a joke. So, you with me, Jeff? Boom.
Sure, yeah.
So, fear of falling and fear of loud noises are the only two innate fears, but we have the fear of embarrassment, we have the fear of failure, the fear of success sometimes. All these fears creep in middle school, and we cop an attitude. And if we're gonna, you know, the only way to guarantee that you're not gonna fail, for example, if that's one of the reasons that you kept your hand down, you don't wanna fail, you don't wanna be embarrassed, so keep our hands down, right? And if we're a basketball team, Phil, do you wanna miss a shot, yes or no?
Sure.
You wanna miss a shot?
I want to make a shot.
You wanna make a shot, okay, okay.
Preferably.
Yeah, but do you want to miss a shot?
Yes, statistically.
Okay. Is Phil always like that? He's one step ahead, man. I know where you're going with this, Craig. It's a simple analogy, but I'll stop you right there, buddy. Okay. All right, there goes my whole story there. What the hell? Yeah. I mean, the only way to guarantee that we never miss a shot is what? Is never put our hand up, right? And so it was demonstrated right here. Let's look at fear real quick. Everyone close your eyes, please. Close your eyes and think of the most embarrassing moment of your life, okay, with your eyes closed. Some of you have your eyes are almost closed anyway. It's been a long day. But I'm walking around the room, and I'm going to tap a couple of you on the shoulder. If I tap your shoulder, I'd like you to come to the front of the room and share that most embarrassing moment briefly with the entire group, okay? So if your eyes are open, I'm definitely gonna tap you. If you're cheating, I know you know who you are. If I tap your shoulder, you're coming to the front of the room and sharing that story with the whole group. All right, a couple more people. Okie dokie, thank you very much. Open up your eyes. You just looked. You were looking the whole time, weren't you? You were, weren't you? Yeah. How many of you were cheating? Come on, who was cheating a little bit? Let's be honest. Okay. Let's see how honest we are. Remember the whole honesty? How many of you pick your nose by chance? How many of you pick your nose? Okay, we're an honest group. That's good. There's still something. No, you don't. You never do? So, right? So kids don't have this image thing, right? They're not like the ego, right? So how many of you, while I was walking around the room, how many of you were distracted thinking, don't tap me, whatever you do, don't tap me? How many of you had something like that going on? A lot of us, okay? How many of you had this one? I can't tell that one, I'm gonna have to lie. I'm gonna have to lie. Okay, good. So that's a good example of fear. And what does fear do? It constricts us. And if we turn on the TV, there's fear everywhere, man. It's fears everywhere. You know, everyone's fearful, right? I'm afraid. And, you know, what's the number one fear for many adults? What is it for many adults?
Public speaking.
Public speaking, not for everybody, but for a lot of people. How many of you are scared to death to talk in front of a group? Be honest. You are? Okay, who's a lot? Who's really afraid? You're afraid? I mean, what's this? Fair bit. Who's afraid? Who's afraid of public? Let's be honest, okay? Yeah, and what's your name?
Ryan.
I'm sorry?
Ryan.
Ryan, come on up. Let's give Ryan a big hand. Come on up, Ryan. Nice job. Thank you. Thank you, Ryan. All right. So check this out, Ryan. This is scary, right?
I'm ready.
You ready? But are you scared? Are you scared?
A little bit.
Good. So what is Ryan modeling for everyone in the room? She's afraid, but she's up here anyway. What is she modeling for all of us? Courage. Good. That was, how many of you see courage? Raise your hand, please. And keep your hands up, keep your hands up. I want you to see that by you, of anyone here today, thank you. You can, who's most apt to teach us to be more courageous?
The people that support you when you get up to be courageous.
Okay, but who's being courageous right now in this moment?
Me.
Okay, good. Right, so you're not waiting until your fear subsides, you're afraid, but you're up here anyway. Am I being courageous right now, yes or no?
I think yes.
No. Because I do speeches for a living, so I'm kind of used to this. But there's other areas of my life where I'm afraid. And I let that fear kind of, I keep my hand down. So I learned to be courageous by people like you that are just being courageous. So just for coming up, let's give her a standing ovation. Everybody, standing ovation. Here we go. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Have a seat. Oh, we're not done. We're not done. Come on back. Where are you going? Yeah, we're not done. That was the start. Have a seat. I'm going to work with them real quick. I'll come back. How many of you were just given 100%? Raise your hand. Who's just given 100% in that standing ovation? Good. Excellent. 1, 2, 3, 4 gentlemen. Can I have you 4 gentlemen please stand up and duplicate exactly what you just did? Okay, you two over there because you had your hands up. Ready and go. Okay, cool, thanks. I think I'll work with you, Mike. Is that cool? Boom. So Mike, that was, what's up? That was 100%, right?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, that was. Okay, good. Nevada, state coordinator. Okay, cool. Bruce, what does 100% mean mathematically? What's 100%?
All of it.
All of it. So that was all of it.
Okay, it was 75%.
Okay, 75%. Well, I'm going to ask you a couple questions to see if that's true, okay? So you're not going to have to, but could you? Could you double your energy in a standing ovation, okay, for, let's say, a brand new car? I'll buy it today, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, so that implies that we didn't see 100 or 75, we saw more like 50% of your max. Does
We'll
that
call it 30, yeah.
Okay, now you're going to 30. Good, I'll just jump to the last question. I was working with some soldiers down in Fort Stewart, and they were telling me stories of heroism, right? And we look at some of the examples, we get inspired by people, like, little Greta come from Sweden last week, and we get motivated by people being courageous, right? They were telling me stories of heroism. We've read stories of grandmothers lifting up cars when there's kids trapped below, right? Are you with me here? Yeah. Last question. Someone walks in this door and says, Michael, either you get 5 times more in a standing ovation, or we die today. Could you do it, yes or no?
If I could jump that high, I would do it.
It's a yes or no question. Our life depends on it. If there was some measurement tool, because I saw about like that, could you give me 5 times more energy, 5 times more volume, or repeat, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, so you could save our lives. So that implies we didn't see 100 or 75 or 30, we saw more like 20%. Let's give Michael a big hand. Big hand for Michael, nice job. All right. So here's my point. I, like you, and most of us in this room, as adults, we kind of go through life like this, do we not? Yes or no? Yeah. And we get away with it. We get away with it, right? I've never seen a kid go down a slide at 20%, you know what I mean? Like, whatever, you know. They give 100% without having to know what the outcome's gonna be, right? Now we could talk more and more, we don't have much time, but they adapt to change. You take a 4-year-old, move from Colorado to Florida, how long would it take that child to adapt to that new environment? How long? A day. You take your high school kid, move across town, resist, resist, resist. Right? So obviously, all the hard work you've done, there's a lot of resistance to change. It's really not change, it's our resistance to change. And as adults, as we've all been embarrassed, we've all been humiliated in our lives, we've all had loss in our lives, so we start protecting ourselves and our ego becomes bigger than the issue at hand oftentimes. Are you with me here? Okay, so let's try this one more time. I want you to stand back up. Let's get closer to 100%, because it's that time of the day, we need some energy anyway. Everybody on 3, just for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, go! Yeah! Woo! All right. Man, we just woke up 3 guys in the back row. So you ready for a quick one, Ryan? Yeah. Here we go. Not a quick drink, I'm just saying a quick demonstration here. So this is my only graphic for today since we're limited, but here it is. Greta, you don't have kids yet, do you?
No.
I mean, Ryan, I'm calling her Greta. Ryan, you don't?
No.
Okay. Emphatically not. Okay, good. Who's got a 4, 5, 6-year-old grandson or granddaughter or something like that, or kid? Yeah. Let's say your kid has 100 units. Okay, here we are. The only graphic, the only note-taking you need to take. 100 units of energy or focus to play Lego, okay? 100 units of energy or focus to play Lego. How many of those 100 units are just playing Lego for a kid? 100. Here's the only thing. When kids are playing Lego, what are they doing? Playing Lego. Now, if I asked earlier, instead of painting a picture, how many of you can do Lego? A lot of you were thinking, well, not good. I can't do Lego. Or they got better Lego at that table, or that guy was born with a golden Lego in his mouth. I compare my Lego to everyone else's Lego, and it's terrible. I should have done Lincoln Logs, where's my therapist? Instead of just playing Lego. So a kid could have spaghetti sauce, dripping boogers, farting, and they're just playing Lego. They're all in playing Lego. Are you with me here? Okay, so now you have 100 units of energy or focus right now to talk to the group. What's one thing that you might be afraid of if I asked you to talk to the group?
I don't know, militaries related issues. I know nothing about it, so
okay, so not knowing what to say. Not knowing what to say, okay? What percentage of your 100 units of energy or focus right now is worried about not knowing what to say? What percentage of this? 90%. 90%. Well, we've got to save some, so we'll make it 50, okay? We'll make it 50. What's something else you might be afraid of if I asked you to speak to the group right now? What's something else?
saying the wrong thing.
Oh yeah, how many of you can relate if you were up here? Ooh, I said the wrong thing. What's the right way to communicate about this climate change? Ooh, did I say the wrong thing here? So I don't say anything, or I try to be perfect and be, here's my perfect PowerPoint. Without connection, it's all, folks, it's all about connection. It's connection. We need to connect with each other on a level that kids connect. Do you know what I'm saying? And not let this labeling, you're this and I'm that, whatever. Okay, so how much of this is worried about that right now?
Saying the wrong thing?
Yeah.
On top of the 50%?
Yeah.
I don't know, 20%.
20%? Okay, one more thing that you might be afraid of, if I ask you to speak to the group right now.
I don't know, using the wrong word.
Wrong word. Okay, we could keep going, right?
Yeah.
And you keep whittling away, and now I don't want something flying out of my mouth, et cetera, right? So at the end, we might say that instead of when you were playing Lego as a 5-year-old, just playing Lego, you might have, let's say, 5% to do the task at hand. Are you with me here? Okay, so here's the question of the day. What would it take for you to get to 100%?
Fearlessness.
Okay, great. Or you could get your PhD in climate change to know more than all of us. You could have practice your speech over and over, right? You could, nicest hairdo and all this stuff. It might take you years to get to 100% that way, right? But who's someone in your life? I'm going to show you the shortcut. Who's someone in your life that you love a lot?
My mom.
What's her name?
Kara.
Kara. So instead of 180 people, make it 1,800 people. Look out there. More pressure?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now your mom is on stage with you. You with me?
Yes.
Okay. And your mom is in harm's way. You with me?
Yes.
Would you stop at nothing to help your mom?
Yes.
Would you be worried about not knowing what to say?
No.
Would you be worried about what they thought of you?
No.
Would you be worried about saying the wrong thing?
No.
Embarrassment?
Not at all.
In that split second, how many units of energy or focus would you have?
100%.
So you went from 5% to 100% with no PhD, no new hairdo, etc. What changed?
That I care about my mom.
Where did your focus go? From where to where? From who to who?
From the people out there to the people right here.
Okay, the focus went from who to who?
From the audience to my mom.
Who's this about?
Them.
That's about who?
It's about them. Generally, them. Way out there. Scary.
No, okay, we all have this, but who's this stuff about? You're worried about this and this, who is that?
Me messing up.
Right, so your focus went from who to who?
Me to my mom.
Exactly, and in that moment, you get that?
Yes.
So in that moment, I would say that you went from being courageous just to come up to 100% absolutely fearless. Are you with me?
Yes.
Do you get that?
Yes.
Let's give her a big hand. Nice job. Thank you very much. Yeah, give it up. All right. So, check it out. When I was asking Mark, how do you keep sustain positivity? How do you keep going? It's like he said, I just take the focus off of me, and that's a great example of that. When we focus on something bigger than ourselves, when we have a purpose that's bigger than ourselves, not only are we going to be more effective, and we have, instead of 5% of energy, we have 100% in that moment, but we're going to be like Michael on the soccer field and not care so much about embarrassment, and we'll have more fun in our life. Are you with me here? And more smiles, more laughter, the whole bit. Can you relate to that? Okay, can we go just a couple minutes long? I know you're really on time, just like 2 minutes. Can I do that? Okay, because I'm supposed to be, what time do you have? I don't know if my watches are the same. Okay.
5:14.
Okay, 14. Okay, good. All right, we're going to go 3 minutes. You want to do something? I want to do a little team exercise. What's your name?
Dan.
Dan, let's get Dan up here, and we're going to do a 10-second go Dan dance, but everyone's going to stand. We're going to go Dan like this. Everybody, come on. On three. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Go Dan. Okay. Okay, you guys just sit down and just stick to your day job, okay? Are you ready for this, Dan?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay, so Dan, you're going to be my arms. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to grab a shirt real quick. You're going to ask me questions. Let's just make them goofy questions. They're fun questions. Craig, how do you blah, blah, blah. I need a question from you, David. I need a question from you, okay? Anyone else can shout out a question. Can you come up real quick and help us with the shirt? You're going to stand behind me. I'm going to turn this on. Let's see. Check, check. Can you guys hear okay? Just for this exercise. All right. So you're going to stand behind me. Your arms come underneath mine, out through the sleeves of the shirt. Pull the whole shirt over his head. All right. There's a whole head for his head back there. Okay, good. All the way down the back. Okay, get your arms out as far as you can. Put your arms out as far as you can. Look left or right so you can breathe. Okay, I want you to, there you go. Good. All right, let's give him a big hand. Big hand. Thank you very much. Yeah. I think I'm going to turn this off. Yeah, okay, excellent. Great to be here. Feeling a little, whoa. Who's got the first question? Anything at all? Hello, hello. My ears are on. Yes, sir, Dave, yeah, you should be sitting over there, but go ahead, yeah. What are you proud of? What am I proud of? Well, there's a few things. First of all, I like playing hoops, okay? I scored 12 points in my last game. I'm proud of that. Something else I'm proud of, just slow down. You don't have to dance back there. I'm proud of how I wash. I'm proud of my hygiene, David. I'm proud of, I wash really well. The other thing I like to do is dance around the house. I'm proud of that. And one last thing I'm proud of is this. Is a secondary dance, okay? 2 of them, and this one I'm really proud of. Next question. Stand still, baby. He's dancing back there. Who's got another question? Anything at all? Come on, hit me hard. Yeah, Dave, go ahead.
Who did your hair this morning?
Who did my hair this morning? Well, what little hair I have, this guy over there. Yeah, Scott did it. He came in and helped me with my hair this morning. Another question. Come on, hit me hard.
Least favorite food?
3 foods I can't stand. Well, actually, there's 2 that I dislike tremendously. The first one is this. It's a big banana. I hate big bananas, okay? I can't stand big bananas. And the second one is a big old roast, okay? I just can't eat that stuff. Okay, I think one last question. Anything at all? Yeah. Scott, what do you got, buddy?
What was your most embarrassing moment?
What was my most embarrassing moment? Probably right now. But look at my pecs, Scott. One day, camp. Yes. That was embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? Because I just kept it going. Okay, let's give him a hand back there. Nice job, buddy. Thank you, Dan. You're awesome. Thanks, brother. All right. All right, nice. Let's give him another big hand. Nice job, Deb. All right. So we're going to wrap it up here, but was he giving 100%? Yes or no? Yes. Was he taking himself seriously? Yes or no? No. And that's a good example of synergy. We know where we're going, but we gave it our all, and we had fun. It was silly. Silly comes from the word zelig, which means to be blessed. Very different than stupid. Drinking and driving is stupid. Silly is okay. I think we all could be more silly in our approach to ourselves, and then we can be more effective in the wonderful, wonderful work that you all do. So thank you for all your great work. I encourage you to look at those children and go, wow, I was like that too. 3 things get in the way: fear, worry, and ego. How do we deal with fear? We get courageous, okay? We get into action, and we bring love to what we do. And if we bring love to what we do, that's going to trump fear every single day. You know what I'm saying? And worry, don't worry so much. Only 3 out of 100 things that you're worried about. Can we do anything about? There's a study on that. Didn't have time to get there. And then the ego, let's just not take ourselves seriously. So Susan, thank you for bringing me in. You guys are awesome. God bless. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.